By all accounts, the interview, with all the reviews and everything going on, been a great tour for you.
Absolutely. I think I don't get this. They refer to some shows as being sold out and some shows as being over capacity. I'm not really sure what the difference there is, but I think every show has been listed as ended up being one of those, except for maybe two. So it's been great. We're seeing every night, Skindred and SOiL. We've got a bit different crowds. And
well, I was going to say, because even with the others, with Visa, basically between the three of you bands, you've covered Hard Rock Hell and Hammerfest in the last year.
Right.
Three completely different bands, different audiences.
Yeah, it's neat. We've been allowed to do this for so long, and the fact that when the band got together, talking 17 years ago, the fact that there's people out there that still support us and allow us to do this is amazing. So you see a lot of those old school fans in the crowd each night, but we're also seeing a ton of people that at the very beginning of it, I don't think they're really familiar with SOiL.
No.
And you see slowly but surely as the songs come on, as we play, more and more heads start moving, and people are starting paying attention a little bit more to the vocals so that they can sing back the second or third chorus. And by the end of the night, it's great fun. So you can see that's good for us. We need that.
Yeah.
It kind of gives you the feeling that maybe our old asses will be able to do another record sometime.
Well, you mentioned your record. So last time we caught up with you guys at Hard Rock Hell, obviously you had the record that came out, press release, all that sort of things. Would you say your set list at the moment is everything off that new album?
No, we've only got 2, sometimes 3 new tracks off the new album that we throw in. But we're playing a pretty slim set right now in the position that we're in. So we have a lot of old songs that the fans expect to hear. That, 1 or 2 of them that may kick our ass if we don't play them. So it kind of, when you're playing in a support position, you don't have a lot of time to work with. So you try to cram in the stuff that you have to play, and still try to give the fans the new stuff as well. So we have 2 to 3 new songs that we pepper in from time to time.
Now, we always like to go on about what song would epitomise you as a band. Now, obviously, with your back catalogue, it's quite immense. Is there one track off the new record that would you say would epitomise SOiL as now?
Well, that's a tough question. I think Loaded Gun definitely has a flair of like old and new.
Right.
And it was actually the first song that we all wrote together with Ryan being back. So yeah, that's tough to say.
I think you just have to look at the album as being what SOiL is now.
It's a nice, good eclectic mix, in your opinion, because obviously it's all well and good me being a press coming out to you saying this is how I feel. But I suppose for you guys, you're the ones that have written it, that have produced it.
We did this record completely different. We were the end all, the be all end all in all aspects of putting this record together. We, doing it on our own, we wanted to sever ties with any of those stuffed shirts, sitting behind a desk in New York or LA telling us what we were supposed to do. So we did, and so I think this record is from beginning to end is the truest form of SOiL currently available. It was our call from what the artwork was going to look like to who was going to do what on it as far as mix, produce, master. It was our call all along the way.
Yeah.
So as you said, 17 years has, apart from you in charge of the last record from its entirety, has the songwriting process is more or less kept of what you used to, or is it this?
Well, this being the first record back that the three of us have written together, the songwriting process for the band kind of has always started off with like riffs or a collection of music, and then the lyrics and vocals were put on top, and then we mixed and matched things and lengthened things and changed things to adapt to the vocals and things. So in that respect, it hasn't changed at all. This record we did go a little bit different with the way we put it together, because we didn't have a set drummer, and we did some stuff where Adam would program a drum machine. We did some stuff in like a rehearsal room where we actually had some live drums, and it was a different writing process in that sense. But it's kind of it always basically starts with a riff and goes from there.
As you say, obviously, do you prefer program drums, or do you prefer there with a live drummer to interact with, to feed off?
But we didn't really have a live drummer, so.
But obviously, when you get into for the road and things, it's kind of like.
Our live is always, and that's the type of band we are. We're a live band. We don't use programming or anything like that. So I mean, definitely the more organic, the better in our situation.
I know I keep referring back, but obviously Hard Rock Hell, the performance you did blew me away. I've got to be honest. I don't know how my wife over there feels about it.
She loved it.
But she was there for Buck Cherry, but that was a different issue. Obviously, the live process for you guys. Obviously, I've noticed. When you jumped into the crowd, is that something you generally normally happens, that interaction, get the crowd involved, or is that just something spur of the moment from them?
It's kind of become a little addiction of mine.
Right.
It's something that's been occurring more often than not. I don't know. Sometimes they just look to have a lot of fun down there.
Well, I was going to say, knowing the way it was everyone a year ago, they were having a hell of a lot of fun.
It really comes down. I've always been really simple and clear about the fact of just being appreciative of those people out there. I'm an idiot from Indiana, in the States, The first time I came over here, I remember looking down and seeing the lights of London underneath the airplane and being like, how the hell did I get here? How did this happen? And so there's just that moment. I like that moment each night, just getting out there and be able to touch the hands and just be out there and lose your mind with them a little bit.
Yeah. Now I'm going to ask for the rest of the band. When he does jump into the audience, do you kind of go, off he goes again, or do you kind of, is it a close watchful eye on him?
Well, the first time it was like, wow, he jumped off the stage in the crowd. Now, since we've been doing, back together for a couple of years now, we expect it. We just kind of, try to find Waldo in the crowd. Look for the microphone going up and stuff like that.
You've never been tempted to go that extra mile?
Well, it's a little harder when you have a big old instrument strapped on you.
Yeah.
You say that. Now, there was a band I saw recently, who I've caught up with a few times, RSJ, where the guitarist literally goes into the middle of the crowd. He'll have the circle pit round him and he'll just go and play. And you kind of look going, what happens if?
Yeah.
It's always that what if.
Yep.
But it's just obviously with you doing it, and it seems to be one of those spur of the moment things.
We had done it before in the past, where you kind of fall back and let the audience hold you up while you're playing a little bit, or put the instrument down and done a stage dive at the end. But I think we're a little too old and rickety to do that nowadays. And probably, at our age, if anybody didn't catch us, we'd probably fall down and go to the hospital. So
Break the hip.
yeah, exactly.
I suppose, seeing as you mentioned the age, because you've been 17 years in its entirety, does it feel any different? Seeing as I said you...
It feels different every morning when you crawl out of your bunk. little things hurt that did used to hurt.
Is that probably the most negative things about being on tour now, is the fact that you're starting to notice a few creaks, a few things in the morning where you think, shit, what did I do last night?
I woke up this morning laying in my bunk on top of my bag. Jacket under me too, and just, who do I have to apologize to this morning? Holy shit. No, there's with age comes, like I said, a few more creaks, a few more, and we're not, we've had those stage setups where, you get the risers that you're jumping off of all the time, and it's not, you think of, oh, the poor musician's got some bumps and bruises, but living this life out here where you're late, you're sleeping on a 3-inch cushion each night and going down a bumpy road, that's your rest. That's your body's rest. And after 17 years of that sort of, that quality of rest on top of the punishment that we put our bodies through with the alcohol and everything else. So, admittedly, we do it to ourselves to a certain degree, but at this age, definitely feel some of the bumps and bruises.
Yeah. So if apart from seeing the fans every night, seeing the reactions of watching you guys, what would be the other pros, the other benefits of being on the road still?
Just for the fact that we're still able to do it after all these years, we complain about it from time to time, I guess that's with everything, but when you really look at it, we're pretty damn lucky to still be able to go out and go into different countries and play sold out shows and even have a bus, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
there's some bands that came on when we are that are long gone, and you know, other ones that, you know, went down to a van and touring and just kind of lost their fan base and broke up, or, you know, we're pretty damn lucky to still be able to do this. So.
Yeah, that and being on the road, you know, gives our loved ones back home a chance to miss us. You know, if we were around all the time, they'd have ditched us a long time ago. So it gives them a chance to think that we're pretty cool to have around.
So moving on from that, I guess last night in the UK tour, anything special planned? It's the last night in the UK?
Nothing that I've heard of. Yeah, everybody is moving really slow from last night in London.
Right.
Yeah, I think everybody woke up a certain degree still drunk. So it's taken the day for those of us that woke up early enough. It's taken the day to get over it. Those that have woken up recently, I think, are still trying to get over it. It was a fun but rough night last night after the show.
Did you come all the way up from London last night, or would you kind of stay over London, come up early hours in the morning?
I'm not really
I know-
sure.
in the morning.
I passed out fairly early, actually.
Maybe we left at like 3 o'clock in the morning or something like that.
Yeah.
We don't drive, I mean the bus driver.
Well, I know, but it's that thought process. I mean, I have enough trouble getting the wife and the kids up to go on holiday like at 4 in the morning to get to an airport. Never mind you guys having to get on a bus to move to another venue to do the same again another day.
I just feel sorry for whoever it is that is like has to round everybody up. Like trying to fucking round up a bunch of cats, probably.
Obviously, the rest of your European tour. After that, what's planned for you guys? Is it kind of go back?
We come home for 2 days and we leave for Australia for a Soundwave festival,
Oh yes.
and then come back to the States and have a little bit of time off before we start up some more U.S. dates. And then we're planning the rest of the year, so it's going to be busy. And the record just came out, so we still have a lot of work to do and a lot of touring to do to kind of promote it and to get things rolling.
I suppose as you've done it yourself, it's up to you guys now to do that promotion, to keep it fresh, to keep it going.
Yeah, it's different from the days to where, you know, you could go out and put out a record and tour for 6 months and you're done with it, or a year. I mean, nowadays it just takes a long time to get things to stick and to get people to pay attention and things. So we still have quite a ways to go. You know, we're just hitting on the second single, which is the Hate song, and then I'll go to the third single and we're just going to keep going with everything.
Yeah. So it's relentless for the rest of the year for you guys then?
It appears to be
It
that
does
way.
appear that way. Well, like I say, I'm going to call it quits for this so you can have a bit of a respite, because I don't know if you've got any more interviews before tonight. I'm looking forward to
Yeah,
seeing
we
you
have a
guys
whole
again.
sheet full. So.
But thank you very much for that, guys. It's been a pleasure, and
Thank you.
I can't wait to see you guys on stage again.
Awesome,
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers for that.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you.